And a good Saturday afternoon to you, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com. They represent 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda, all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. You're looking at the antecedent conditions with snow on the ground. You can see some of our local valleys and some of the tributaries here, Route 100 area, and where it did snow in the southern four counties, and some of the highest elevations of the northern Green Mountains, the White Mountains, and so forth. And then, of course, the snow continued down in parts of southern New England, where there's some of the greater Boston areas got reports as much as 4, 5, 6 inches in some of these locations. River valleys with this kind of an elevation snow really do show up this time of year. Current conditions do show a trough of lower pressure with a fairly strong area of low pressure in Canada. This will be tracking basically to the north and east, but this trough is going to dig down and really present us with a shot of rain. That's going to change over to wet snow, and that wet snow is going to coat up some area roads and whatnot during the overnight period on Sunday night, Monday morning. And it looks like we'll see another batch of snow, sort of the same expected weather system that'll push on through after a little bit of a dry slot, and then another Alberta type clipper type system is going to be pushing in from the northwest, driving in on a very fast northwesterly flow coming in out of the colder confines of Canada. That'll set the stage for the two coldest days to come, namely Monday as well as Tuesday of next week. Once we get beyond that, it does look like we're going to see conditions begin to warm back up. In fact, temperatures will rise back into the 50s and maybe even some lower 60s. And last but not least, in the tropics, it looks like we're still active again. We have a tropical depression that could become a tropical cyclone, named as a tropical storm. It would be ETA in the Greek letter alphabet. And you're looking at the cold weather currently that we have over us. This is the bluer colors and that sort of green. This is near normal. Seasonal normal temperatures, no departures from normal. This is above normal. That's below normal. So you can see where we are here. This is warmer temperatures out in California, and in fact they're having more wildfire issues, it looks like, with some smoke out in that general area. But you can see with the cold air, it's kind of shifted now to the east, and it's really in the northeast United States, but that is on its way out as we see moderation working on in. It's going to be fairly brief before a much even stronger little batch of colder anomalous air works on in. This is going to be setting up for again for Monday as well as Tuesday. And these are our two coldest temperature days. And then after that, look at this. This is well above normal in terms of temperatures. Again, this is about 850 hectopascals, about the top of Mount Mansfield. And you can see that this warmer air is going to be taking a track and pushing in from west to east. And it does arrive. It weakens, but it does arrive once we get into Thursday, Friday, and so forth. Let's take a look at the incremental. And looking at the incrementals here, we have an area of higher pressure. You can see 1033 hectopascal. That's situated south of New England. And that's going to push off, and it's really delivering a beautiful Saturday here. This is going to last into Saturday night. There'll be some high cloudiness ahead of this weather system that'll begin to push in, filtering the sunshine on Sunday morning. And eventually, we're looking at a couple issues here. We have southerly channeling winds as the pressure gradient begins to tighten with this area of low pressure, and this still fairly strong area of higher pressure that's forcing that pressure gradient to tighten up and then causing some stronger winds out of the south. It does look like rain begins to move in, or rain showers, once we get into the very late part of the day on Sunday. But most of Sunday is going to eke out a fairly dry weather state, so that's good news. But once we get into the rain, it looks like we do, I don't want to say hit the jackpot here, but we're going to see enough rainfall this particular period. Now this will transition from rain showers to snow showers as cold air pushes in aloft. These blue lines kind of indicate that. And so what we're looking at is mainly snow here. And we get a little bit of a dry slot, if you notice. This kind of heads up north into Canada if it holds up like this. And then the deformation, sort of the back edge of that system, will then push on in. And this is when the bulk of the snow will fall across parts of northern Vermont. There could be a few inches out of this during the afternoon hours on Monday. Also, some fairly impressive winds will gust through the region. These winds will be anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour. Latest trends on the modeling kind of indicates that it's backing off just a little bit, but still pretty healthy. And we're looking at some gradient wind impacts, potentially at least, on Monday. Now that system then calms on down. We have another Alberta clipper type system that's going to take a quick action heading southeastbound. There it goes right there. And then that's going to move on out. Temperatures begin to warm up. We begin to moderate with decent area of higher pressure. And then once we get past Thursday, it looks like the storm track is going to be way up into Canada and kind of a ridging of higher pressure well back into the southern and southeastern U.S. That's going to push the storm track north, but you can see this is where the colder air is confined. So this is next Saturday on the 7th. And you can see we get right into slightly into that colder air, which again puts us into what we call the baroclinic zone between warm air and cold air and the clash of air masses. GFS Canadian ensemble data. Centered on Montpelier, Vermont, looks like this. This is 3-hourly quantitative precipitation forecast. And you can see the main precipitation here arrives basically on Sunday night and into Monday. And then with little sort of flare-ups here, these are the flare-ups that will be cold enough to produce actually snow. Then a period of dry weather and then more coming in after that. This is the total QPF, so we're not looking at anything major here. We're talking about, 4/5/10 of an inch and a little bit of a jump upward later on after that. The European is much more hog wild on precipitation. And you're looking at around a ½ inch or a little bit more than that, 0.25 of an inch further off to the west. So New England's basically under the gun. Much of the country is going to be dry. Temperature anomalies as it looks right now with the climate reanalyzer. You can see that the cold air is in place here, sort of out of Canada. It's starting to warm up here and so forth. And just for kicks, let's take a look at snow depths. You can see that it's mostly across Canada, and it's really filled in across parts of Siberia, which indicates that we might be seeing some disturbances affecting the polar jet stream because of the polar vortex being weakened. We'll have to wait and see how this all works out. But we're looking at some ramifications around the corner. Stay tuned on that. 2-meter temperature plot looks like this, and at about 850 hectopascals, you can see that it's mostly in the form of snow. Anything below this line, the 0-degree isotherm, the freezing mark, will be cold enough for frozen precip and then warm enough for rainfall. So liquid here, frozen there. You can see that we're kind of trending that way right now. And that kind of illustrates the same thing. Looking at the total snowfall here, you can see that we're up around over 2 inches, working on 3 inches, and so forth. But with that warmer air inbound, this is the meteorological output statistics for the next 5 days, the maximum temperature anomalies. You can see we're running a little bit below normal right now, but 3 days later, look at that, we warm right back up, 3 degrees above normal. And we have a 90% chance for tropical cyclone formation over the next 48 hours. That increases actually. 90% chance, okay, but this is probably going to be Tropical Cyclone Eta, tropical storm. I don't know if it'll spin up to a hurricane, but it looks like it's Honduras, Nicaragua bound, and no threats to North America. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.